Hello everyone, and welcome to Zeroc Media. In today's video, we'll be discussing Final Fantasy XV, an open-world RPG. The game begins with Prince Noctis and his three friends preparing to go on a road trip. Their goal is to meet up with Lunafreya, Noctis' bride-to-be. Chapter 1 starts off smoothly, introducing us to some of the mechanics, important characters, and locations. But at the end of Chapter 1, quite the unexpected event occurs. It's then up to Noctis and his squad to navigate these new, difficult circumstances.
Looks like we found our first targets.
Stay until the end to hear my daughter's point of view. So, what can you expect out of this game? You can expect a relatively large open world. Some of it initially is gated so that you can't actually progress. There are a number of side activities you can partake in. Fishing, hunting, which is one of my favorites to do in this particular game. Photography, cooking. There are side quests, but I did not find them very interesting. Generally, they are pretty basic. Go collect X number of things, go from point A to point B. Not particularly engaging storylines. So I don't recommend the side quests very much, but a lot of the other side activities are quite nice. A big highlight in particular is Prompto's photography. Prompto is one of the main characters that goes along with Prince Noctis, and every time you rest, he will have taken several pictures, highlighting certain events, fights, interesting scenarios. It's quite charming and honestly one of my favorite parts of the game. The main quest has you traveling the world in your car, the Regalia, looking for artifacts to basically allow you to power up. Overall, the story is good. It's not amazing, but what I think really brings the story together is the interaction between the four friends. While you're riding around with your friends, you get a real sense of friendship, camaraderie, even joking around. It really seems like you're on a road trip with your friends. I think this is a key part of the game. Even more important, though, it does have a lot of awesome moments and ultimately is a great plot, I think, towards the end. The real crux of the game is the sense of friendship and working together to accomplish this important goal for your nation with your friends. Something else impressive about the game is the monsters and environments are quite large. I've played many Final Fantasy games before this, and to have such large monsters just walking around the world is quite interesting. Some of these guys are huge, like a behemoth for instance. Those suckers are probably 20 feet tall. The graphics overall are quite nice. Some locations are really eye-popping. The monsters, they can be quite detailed, excellent animations. Not everything is perfect, but overall it's good. I was playing the PS4 Pro version on my PS5. There are a few different performance modes. I personally, for PS5, recommend the Light mode. It allows for 60 FPS gameplay at 1080p, and I think that is a good compromise because otherwise it opts for a higher resolution and a low frame rate, around 30, and it's not even particularly smooth. The game has a good sense of humor as well. There's this whole quest line about Cup Noodle. Gladio is really into Cup Noodle, so there's a quest to go kill a behemoth and find the perfect meat for his Cup Noodle. It's pretty silly, but enjoyable.
I'll miss it once this road trip's over with.
Combat is done in real time, though there is this wait or analysis mode that you can use to queue up spells and things, but I would recommend the active mode. And it is a little unusual because your main attack is done by just holding square. You can also add directional inputs, and that will adjust your attack vector. But you simply hold square, and your character just attacks with whatever weapon is equipped. Now you can also do other moves. You can point warp, kind of a teleport to different places. You can warp to different enemies, attack them. There's also magic, which is a consumable item basically that you collect from elemental fonts. You then craft elemental spells to be used at a later time. These spells during crafting can be augmented with various effects. So you can have the fire spell, but you can also add a potion. And then when you use that fire spell, it will heal you for a certain amount. And there is a lot of different variations depending on what item you also add into the crafting scheme. You can have some incredibly powerful spells if you learn the system and acquire the particular items that, for instance, allow you to cast fire 3 times, up to 3 times, in one go. Unlike many Final Fantasies, you don't level up in the field. You actually get XP that is then used to level up while you rest at a camp, or a hotel, or anywhere like that, or at the end of chapters. The place where you choose to rest actually has a significant impact on your leveling up, because each place can have a modifier. For instance, an expensive hotel might give you 20% more XP if you were to sleep there. My daughter Leah wants to talk about the game too.
I love how my daddy plays because he has a good Taco Bell and I like the name.
Tell us how we chose that name.
Because my daddy said that it's close to Chocolina.
And that's the character from Final Fantasy 13, right?
And that's the person from Final Fantasy 13. I like the food that my daddy gives to the Taco Bells, and I like the food that they make for themselves. I like how they have a lot of cafes. I like how my dad plays a lot. And I like the Taco Bell a lot.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would I recommend this game? I would say yes if you're into RPGs, exploring good open worlds, appreciate the camaraderie and sense of brotherhood that you have with these characters. I liked the game a lot and found that it was a great overall experience. Now I know that some people have found, especially when it came out, that it wasn't a typical Final Fantasy. It was different in a lot of ways. I think that that is actually valuable because Final Fantasy generally is very good at mixing things up. There's variety in its games. There are also similarities and there are kind of foundational aspects to the series. However, I think that it's okay in this instance for it to have diverged. What this particular game has done, I think is valuable and is worth checking out. Please let me know what you think of the game, the video, or my amazing daughter's perspective on the game down in the comments. Thank you for watching.